Hey everyone, Freak here, and I'm excited to share my thoughts on a book that's been lurking on my to-read list for far too long. Michael Moorcock's Elric of Melniboné. After finally taking the plunge, I understand why this book is considered a cornerstone of the dark fantasy genre. This isn't just a story, it's an experience, a descent into a world of decadent empires, brooding heroes, and soul-devouring swords. As a relative newcomer to the Elric saga, encountering this book felt like discovering a hidden gem. Moorcock, already a legend in the science fiction world, truly cemented his status in fantasy with this series. The eponymous Elric is a character unlike any I've encountered before. He's an albino emperor, physically weak but intellectually sharp, burdened with the legacy of a dying race. He's basically a goth Superman, and I mean that in the best possible way. This isn't your typical shining knight. Elric is cynical, melancholic, and acutely aware of the fading glory of Melniboné. The story plunges us into the twilight years of Melniboné, a once dominant nation that ruled the world for a staggering 100,000 years. Now, less than 500 years since their reign ended, Elric finds himself the reluctant ruler of a decadent society clinging to the remnants of its former power. He's more interested in arcane studies and introspective contemplation than wielding power. Yet he understands that the survival of his people rests solely on his shoulders. Enter Yurkun, Elric's conniving and ruthless cousin. Yurkun embodies the brutal, power-hungry nature of old Melniboné and sees Elric's physical weakness as an opportunity. He's a constant threat, perpetually scheming to usurp the throne, and his animosity drives much of the plot in Elric of Melniboné. The narrative follows Yurkun's machinations, building to a climactic confrontation between him and Elric. This confrontation is where the book truly explodes with dark fantasy goodness. The battle features the demonic rune blades, Stormbringer and Mournblade, weapons that thirst for souls. In a pivotal moment, Elric gains control of Stormbringer, a sentient sword that becomes inextricably linked to his destiny. This acquisition is not a triumphant moment, however. It's a curse as much as a blessing, setting the stage for the tragic events that unfold throughout the saga. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed Elric of Melniboné. The character development was compelling, especially Elric's transformation from a reluctant ruler to a wielder of immense, terrifying power. The pacing was well managed, keeping me engaged without feeling rushed. I particularly appreciated the world building, the sense of ancient history and decaying grandeur that permeated every page. Now, I will say that there was one minor point where I felt a little lost. I wasn't entirely sure when Yurkun's antagonism towards Elric became so overt. It felt like there was a subtle shift, and I might have missed the exact moment when their relationship soured completely. It could be a nuance I overlooked, or perhaps it's intentionally left ambiguous to highlight the inherent distrust and ambition within the Melnibonian court. Despite that minor confusion, I highly recommend Elric of Melniboné to anyone interested in dark fantasy. It's a masterclass in creating a morally ambiguous protagonist and a world steeped in atmosphere. The themes of destiny, power, and the corrupting influence of magic are explored with depth and nuance. There are many more books in the series, and I'm contemplating diving deeper into Elric's story. If you're unfamiliar with the saga, like I was until recently, I urge you to give Elric of Melniboné a try. It's a dark, captivating read that will leave you pondering the nature of heroism and the price of power long after you've turned the final page.